The answer of the problem of evil is not test. It's not the answer. If you think that it is this easy to answer, you just don't know anything. Because I see people analogizing this to many things. But all these things are just about knowing better than other person. But God knows everything. God decided everything, created everything. And you're just analogizing it with something that just someone who is just better than you, just knows better than you, and don't have the choice or don't have the ability to have it both ways, have all the things in his might. So God created everything. God knows absolutely everything. But when you analogize this to just knowing someone is going to choose something, but still letting them choose on their own, it's not the same thing. It is just a practical knowing. It is not the same with God's knowledge. Because the fact that they are still free, even though you basically know they are going to choose something, they are still free is because there is a possibility of them to choose otherwise that you don't foresee. There is a possibility. They can be irrational. There can be something else. There is a possibility, right? No matter how little, there is a possibility that they can choose otherwise or something else. Just even though you absolutely know, still when you get involved, there will be something, it will be something that changes the situation. But that situation is not in your control, but it is in God's control. He created that situation also. So try to imagine this. Try to imagine someone is free, that they are going to choose something. For example, this person is going to choose red color t-shirt. They are looking and you let them be. What is it that makes them free? What do you think is making them free? There is there is a lot of things that can be on their minds that you don't actually know. All the things that you imagine as, oh, free will, there's a free will there. Its characteristic is uncertainty. You don't know it. You don't know they can choose otherwise. You don't exactly know. So practically knowing is not the same thing with God's infallible knowledge. And on top of that, God created everything. God decided everything. How can you so easily talk, oh, it is not in his power. It's not in his power. What can he do? What can poor guy? He had to choose, he had to create evil. Poor guy. No, why? God created everything, decided everything, knows everything. In that case, there is no free will. You're not free from the perspective of God. It is just a misconception. From God's perspective, it is a completely deterministic system. It would be something like that. Just there's nothing that God doesn't know. God doesn't exactly know. But in order for, oh, this person is free, they can choose otherwise. They can do otherwise. Or maybe they will choose that. But still, there can be elements about that choice that you don't foresee. There can be a lot of parameters about that person's life that you don't foresee, right? So, but all these things that make someone free is not valid for God. God knows everything. So it is much like you assembled a set of gears and you turn one gear and this other gear is free. This other gear is free. How the fuck is that possible? Right? So that is the case. You can't just, oh, God's knowledge to just someone knowing better. That's ridiculous. Some answer that some people might give comes to my mind, that God can still make it happen. God can still, if, and let's accept this. Let's accept this for a moment. Just for a moment, let's assume just we can call something free, even though all the characteristics of what makes something free is gone. Still, we can call it freedom because God can do anything, right? In that case, first of all, it is so ironic to me because when it comes to talking how great God is or God's existence, God can do everything, every contradictory thing. But then when it comes to problem of evil, oh, he had to create evil. It is needed for free will. Why is God bound by that? At every other thing, you can easily assume God can do those things. God can God God is God created rules of logic. Some people even say that, right? God can even God created, so he is even isn't bound by laws of the logic, the basic logic or mathematics. Anything is possible. Something can both exist or not at the same. Then why would God be bound by this freedom is freedom requires evil that isn't in God's control. Why is that needed? If we will dismiss these logical improbabilities this much because God can do everything. Then God can create free beings. By the way, it is not established. We didn't establish evil is needed for free will. That's another topic of discussion. But for the sake of argument, I will accept that premise. Let's say for us, evil is needed for free will. But God can do anything, right? Why? So God can create free beings, that is called free, just because God can do anything. They are called free, but they always happen to choose good, always happen to do good.